In this session, I am going to discuss about the notion of identifier and variable in Python. Let's move ahead with our first topic, that is identifier. Let's assume a scenario where your friend is in a crowd and you need to call him. So how will you call your friend? Obviously by the name. Similarly, in a Python program, you may define multiple variables, functions or classes. So to uniquely identify them, we must give them a name. And this name is nothing but an identifier. By the definition, an identifier is a name given to any entities like class, function, variable, etc., which is mainly used for identification purposes. There are some rules to define a name in Python. So I have listed all the rules that we need to follow to name an identifier in Python. So the first one is, it can be a combination of uppercase alphabets or lowercase alphabets or the digits and underscore sign. For example, we can declare a variable name like age equals to 28, or we can use age equals to 28, or we can also use the combination of alphabets and underscore like my underscore age equals to 28. Now we can also use an alphanumeric name like Python 3 equals to 10. This is also valid, but according to the second point, a name cannot start with a digit. Like this is a valid declaration, but if you try to declare it like this way, 3 Python equals to 10, it will raise an error because name cannot start with a digit. And then the special symbols are not allowed. We can use only the underscore sign, but we can't use anything apart from this. Like my @age equals to 28, it will raise an error. Okay. So our fourth point is keywords cannot be used as an identifiers. So what is keywords? Keywords are the reserved word in Python which has a predefined meaning. So we cannot use a keyword as an identifier name. For example, while is a keyword. So if I try to use it as a variable name, then it will raise an error like while equals to 10, and now if I press enter, it will show an error. Now you will find all the keywords present in Python by writing one single statement, that is help, and then within parentheses we need to pass keywords. So these are the keywords which are present in Python 3. Here I want to mention 2 points about identifiers. Identifiers can be of any length. You can declare a very long name of an entity, but the idea is always use a compact and meaningful name for the particular entity. Like if you want to store the age of a person, then you can simply write a equals to 28. But it is not a meaningful name. But instead of a, if you write age equals to 28, then it reflects the original meaning of that entity. So my second point is Python is a case sensitive language. I have told you that for is a keyword, so we cannot use it as an identifier name. But if I change this first alphabet, that is F, from lowercase to uppercase, then we can happily use it as an identifier name, because for and for are different in Python language. Similarly, name and name are two different identifiers. Coming to the next topic, that is variable. A variable can be thought of as a container. Generally in our home, we use different containers to store grocery items. Similarly in programming also, we need a container to store values. It may be an integer value or a string or something else. So variables are nothing but the reserved space in memory which is used to store different values. To declare a variable, we need to give a name so that we can uniquely identify it whenever it is required. So here I am declaring a variable with name val and then assign the value. So I have assigned a value 19, which is an integer value. Now val is the variable name and 19 is the value that is assigned to it. Not only integer value in a variable, we can also store float, string, etc. We will see different data types in details in our upcoming lectures. But before ending this session, I want to mention two functions that are print and input. These two functions are called input-output functions. We will see about these two functions in a great detail when we will be dealing with the input-output statements in our upcoming video. But for now, just note that print is basically used to print an output. For example, if I write print and then within parentheses if I pass val, then it will print the value of val, that is 19. When we need to take inputs from a user, then we have to use input function. For example, if I try to take the age from a user, then we need to write input, and within parentheses we can pass the message like enter your age, like this. Now after this, user is going to enter the age, but the question is where it will go, because we need a container to store this age. So we need to declare a variable like this, age equals to, then we can write this statement input. This is all for this video. In our next video, we will learn the internal representation of a Python variable and also the constant in Python.